Yo, dude.
Hey, how you doing?
How can you, bro?
Good, man. You
Oh,
back from your golf tournament? Your PGA
yes.
Mossel Bay.
Listen, if PGA stands for professional golfers posing as amateurs, then yes, that's us. That's when I'm back from a PGA golf tour.
Lekker, man.
Yeah.
What did you play?
I mean, what courses or what number? What number of strokes? I mean,
Well, let's
it's
start with the courses and then we go to the horses.
listen, shit. I'll take my phone off. Shit. That's why you shouldn't ask me about my golf. My golf went about as good as this interaction. No, dude. Like I told you, I was in your part of the world. In Danabay.
Dude, listen, it's not my part of the world. Fuck it. It's like it's a 6 hour drive for me. So let's just add
No, yeah,
that to
yeah.
the
I'm just clowning. No, dude, we played the Pazula course in Naisma.
mm.
Then the next we played Kingswood in George. Then we played Mossel Bay, and then finally we played Pinnacle Point. I don't know if you've heard or seen Pinnacle Point, but dude,
That's
it's
dude. Which one is Ernie Els's course?
I,
No, sorry,
I'm
that's in Harold's Bay. Sorry.
yeah. There's a couple that he made, but yeah, Pinnacle Point is like if you're not a pro golfer, it's a nightmare, dude. There's like 3 or 4 holes where you have to like hit the ball like oor die see. It's like you're here, like see there. You just there's
Okay.
if you miss, you're not you're gaan soek nie jou bal nie. I mean it's done. It's
Yeah.
over. You know, it's you take the punishment and you go on, man.
So listen, I
So
think because I play mini golf on my phone. I'm
yes,
quite a fan of mini golf, and obviously there's one of the stages or courses. There's this one I think they call it Misty Cliffs. So they
okay,
show you that the breeze is coming from the left or from the right. So you need to hit into the breeze or into the wind, and then it obviously curves back
okay,
onto. So you need to take the wind in
yeah.
consideration. So it seems like Pinnacle Point is something that they will have in mini golf.
Yeah, but see, I just to bring into my golf game, assuming there's no wind, my ball still curves. So I need to do that without wind. Now imagine you add wind to the equation, dude. It's a nightmare. But
So
no, it was fun.
what did you end up playing together?
So it's difficult because we play different like rules. We played the first day like combine your score of your partner. We were 4 guys, so we played like these two and then these two and then these two. So you had one round of each guy, and we had different rules. So the first day it's like combine your total strokes. The second one is like combine your score, and then the highest combined score wins a hole. And you win
Yeah,
10 holes or more. And then the third
yeah,
day we played if one guy has the most points on that hole for the team, he takes the whole thing. Doesn't matter,
yeah.
So I can get 3 points and the two of them get 2 points. My partner gets zero, but because I got the most on that hole, it's like a winner takes all. So it's like different kind of rules, so just to mix it
Yeah.
up. The last
Epic.
day it was just like play, every man for himself. So
And
yeah,
what are
different
you
kind of
what are you
things. But
playing for? Did you put money in a kitty, or is there some necklace
this
or?
is this is brilliant. So do you know golf? Do you like the US Masters? They get like a green jacket if they win.
Yeah,
I don't, you must have
yes.
seen it. Yeah. Okay. So when we got out of Nice, I went to a second-hand store and we're like, "Do you have a green blazer?" And the lady's like, "Yes, we have." And we're like, "How much?" And she says, "It's 35 rand." And we go, "Done.
That's
We're
it.
in." We got this green jacket. When you got on board, all kinds of shit. And then so next time we go, so at the final day of the one guy and me, we drew. So it's like we played exactly the same holes, but
Yeah.
let's say he can't go. Next time we're going to the airport, I'm going to wear that. I'm going to be like, they see me roll, their hair
So
things.
you actually need like tour jackets, like a yearly tour jacket that you have to arrive with Tailoru, that you have to
I,
arrive with to the courses with a nice little emblem or badge or something,
yeah, we,
to
we,
distinguish yourself.
yeah, we have a logo which we made. You'll see. I think you commented on that picture I posted on Instagram just now with the 4 of us. Those
Yeah,
are actually like
yeah.
shirts we had made with a logo that says Golf Otter 1.
I
So it's
see.
my
Yo.
phone. Somebody phoned me. Yeah, so we put on this on. We had the logo that says Golf Otter 1 dubbelpunt die eerste een. you know, just so that there's no confusion about about our tour. Yeah, but so we want to like, so our plan is to like, you know, do it every year and make it like yearly events. So
That's
so yeah,
epic,
it was great fun, dude. Yeah,
That's
great fun.
epic. Yeah, it was funny. Like we've been having like crazy weather this last few weeks, and especially the last week, we've had these beautiful like misty mornings, and then kind of late morning it opens up, and then it's nice and hot and sunny, and then late afternoon it starts to become misty again. So the other, it was, when was it? Like Friday morning. I decided to, instead of, working out or, exercising at home, I'm going to just go down to the beach, which I do like once a week or twice a week, whatever. And I decided I'm going to take a spade. I'm going to go down far down the beach, and I'm just going to dig a fucking hole for exercise. That's going to be today's exercise. Anyway, so I go up quite high up into the dunes, and I start digging. And it's low tide as well. So I'm something like 55, 60 meters away from the shoreline. And anyway, I'm completely by myself. So I start digging. I've got music and whatever next to me. So I start digging, and I kind of get into a flow, and I realized like, after a while, like I'm getting quite deep here. And eventually there's a guy, he comes from the side, and he's like, from the distance, he's like, sorry, man, do you need a metal detector? And I'm like, no. And he's like, oh, you probably haven't been to the army yet, have you? No. Oh, because why did you do this then? I don't know, for exercise. And he's like, what? Are you serious? And he just walks away in disgust, Anyway, so I keep digging. And then eventually I actually hit the water level, which, obviously with the dune going up, I was maybe 2.5 meters deep or whatever. And every day when I go for a walk, that hole is so deep that it's people have been jumping in it and trying to close it, but it's still like probably 1.5 meters deep. So I'm going to go back this Friday and continue and see if I can, maybe find some ships or gold or the whale bones or whatever the case might be.
Would you say that you digging yourself into a hole is a metaphor for the way you played Survivor? Because I mean, that's what I'm seeing here.
That's how I prepped for Survivor. I was digging holes on the beach. Yes.
Great stuff.
Yeah. So
yeah.
on the topic, it's what do you think about the reveal? When was it?
Yeah, dude.
Last night.
Sunday. What's today? Tuesday.
Yeah. No, it was.
I don't know what day is what. Yeah. Sunday night. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, we knew about it for a while. If you knew one or two people who went out, you know what the filming dates was. But we knew when they were gonna. We know that it was like it's gonna be in June. But now we finally have it. I mean, now it's here. It's real. We've got a cast. We've got 20 faces. We've got names. So yeah, dude, I'm really excited. I love this group of people. And you and I have talked about this a lot off air. But I think now it's time for us to take it on air to say what we need to say about these people. What's your first?
I think the first thing that you would notice, and I've mentioned this to someone as well, is South Africa is quite diverse and it's quite big in size comparison to many countries, and I'm only kind of, for the last few months, like many of us, I was kind of constricted to my little space or beach or town or village or whatever the case might be, and sometimes a lot of us, we forget about the beauty that, is literally a stone throw away. And in this case, the Transkei, it's obviously, for us at least, it used to be a place where we used to go once a year. And, the Transkei and the West Coast is kind of the two last frontiers of South Africa that is still raw and still unexplored and still, if you go out there, there's no signal, there's no proper roads, there's no hospitals, there's nothing there, and that is what makes the West Coast and what makes the Transkei what it is, So,
yeah, sure, definitely.
Obviously, with the first view or the preview of the game, that is what you experience, is kind of the beauty, that lush beauty of the Transkei, because that's obviously also something that you won't get on our side. That's very specific to that part of the country. So obviously, so many people send me a DM, like, and that's another thing that I want to actually just add and mention is, so many of us, it doesn't matter what type of job you have, what your upbringing was, what high school you went to, what your social status is. There's so many people living in South Africa that's been abroad, went to the Seychelles, to Zanzibar, to India, to the States, wherever, but they've never been to the Transkei. So I think, beyond the Survivor fans and the Survivor followers, I think whoever's going to join us in watching this new season, I think they're going to, fall in love not only with the game, not only with the contestants, but obviously with our fucking country, which is amazing, and then also abroad, the Australians, the Americans, the New Zealanders, the Israel, whoever is going to watch this a show. I think it's such an amazing opportunity for South Africa to obviously, showcase herself.
Absolutely. And I spoke to one of the producers, might be somebody who's in the chat, and that individual told me, I said, listen, with regards to shooting, in Samoa and Fiji and whatever, how does it compare to shoot locally? And the words to me was, it was like any other Survivor location. I mean, it's exactly the same. So I think it had that untouched vibes. So yeah, I mean, that's the location. It's here, it's local, and if Afrikaans does a good job and Mnet, this thing goes global, which it is going to. It might be that next year or in a couple of years, the US Survivor or Australian Survivor, they come, shoot Survivor South Africa, like literally in our country. So I mean, that option is always on the table, and it's something that's actually quite cool, which I don't think. It's definitely an option. So that excites me. So which is great.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's it's difficult to try and envision, having been, in such a position, how everything kind of, gets how they will incorporate the environment of the Wild Coast, because I mean it's oh man, like I said, you've got the rivers, you've got the mountains, you've got the waterfalls, you've got the ocean, everything, you've got the whole entire package. So now it's just now it's on on them to kind of sell it, I guess, which is I think also quite easy because it sells itself,
Exactly.
Just anyone can take a drone and fly, do a good drone shot of the Transkei, and it will look something tropical and something somewhere far away. So it's
absolutely,
it's super exciting. So with that said,
yes.
What's next? Where do you want to start?
So I think the easiest is I've opened up. We don't want to go through them because we don't have too many notes. I don't want to go through them alphabetically. What I think we're going to do is we've got the press release that was sent to everybody. I've got it opening on News 24. I think we just do it top down and we scroll down and we chat about the people. I mean, we've both seen the videos. If you haven't, I mean, everybody, you can just go onto Instagram or Twitter, type #SurvivorSA. You can zoom into any individual contestants. They've got like a 45-second clip, which tells their introduction or 40-second bio or whatever, which is quite cool. So I think we do, and then we just start jumping with both feet. The very first person we have is Amy.
I think before you start that, actually, I think first is to kind of to a degree congratulate these 20 individuals, because it's obviously it's such a small little community, and it's such a special honor, I would say, to be called part of the Survivor family. So if any of them are out there, firstly, that's obviously congratulations on making the cut, having the opportunity to play the game. But I think the most important thing is, for having been there and experienced it firsthand, how harsh and dark social media will become in the next 6 months, let's call it. I think the most important thing is, or there's two parts of it. First thing is it's going to be a long kind of 6 months, for the fact that obviously you can't join discussions and make your standpoint or your viewpoint on specific plays and specific thoughts. As a player, you get to see one dimension of the game. As a viewer, I'm sitting at home, I'm seeing the whole game play out. So for me, it's very easy to say, well, this person should have done that, they should have played this, they should have told this. So, you know, I think for the next few months, keep that in mind, that the viewer gets to see everything. So there's going to be a lot of weight being put on the players' shoulders, you know, and there might be things that might be, you know, seen as a negative, as a negative thing towards them. And I think that's the first thing that they need to kind of put behind them and just, you know, forget about it, because it's not important. And keep in mind that the audience and you have a very different idea or a view and dimension of how the game pans out.
Absolutely, and to that, I think one thing, and that's why I put up that post, is a lot of people can get, you know, very negative, very fucked up on social media, like you said. What we're going to do here is we're going to be as friendly and as positive and as upbeat as we can about the cast. Like Dante rightly said, we've been there, we know what it's like. We know when people say, yo, my Jacques, we're going to fuck it, any that, and that's we get that. So if we say something and it's maybe perceived as a bit negative or whatever, I mean, we don't know you yet. We don't know you at all, to be honest. So it's maybe our perception. And when we say we think, you know, whoever's going to be a first boot, we don't think that person is a cuck individual. We just say we think that for these and these reasons, you know, that it's not personal. We're not getting personal on your life. It's just how we perceive you. And the best thing I want to do is be proven wrong when we say something that's, you know, not,
that's
double
exactly. Like, you know, I think it's we know so little of the players, and that's another thing is, you know, your pre-game speech or bio or a little 1 minute introduction is not really worth anything, because mine, Jacques, anyone who ever played the game and made their 1 minute introduction in the beginning, in the end of the game, you're going to look back at that introduction and you're going to think to yourself, what an idiot. Like, you know, this game is so unique and so special that no one can prep for Survivor. There's no specific individual that you can say in the street, you know what, that guy or that girl walking there seems like a good individual for Survivor. It doesn't exist. So all of us, you prep your best to come into the game, you know, the best version of yourself. But as soon as you step onto the island, you are worth nothing. You start from scratch. You know, Kobe being, you know, a architect, you know, had issues helping us build a proper bed in the beginning. You know, whatever your profession is, whatever your strengths are, you know, all of these things are valuable.
Dante was a coffee owner, and he may be one of the cuckest cups of coffee I've ever had in my life. I mean, that just goes to show you.
Exactly. And then the last thing, and sorry, Jacques, I'm keep rambling on, but there's one more thing that I really want to mention as well is if any of the new or the current players, you know, try to get in contact or communicate with us, and we tend to be a little bit cold, or, you know, give you a little bit of a cold shoulder, it's not because we don't like you, it's not because we don't want to interact with you. It's, you know, it's the total opposite. The only reason why we might give you a little bit of a cold shoulder is the fact that we understand how easy it is to give away a lot with only, not even with words, you know, it could be whatever's not even said. So for that reason, you know, I know it's going to be a very long stretch until you guys can open your mouth and speak your minds and your hearts. But until then, you know, for myself, you know, I'm going to try and distance myself from these type of conversations, because I don't want to spoil it for myself or for anyone else, or for the players, because people will read your body language, but they will take any words, they will twist and combine it with shit that's not even there, and they will create narratives that doesn't exist. So that's the only reason why, for my and Jacques' side at least, obviously, you know, we will not be entertaining a lot of the new players until we get to the end of it.
A very, very last thing, I don't want to be fucking the principal here, but I think it has to be said. I see that in the chat, a lot of the new customers are, like Dante said, welcome. But that being said, like Dante rightly said, please don't, when, let's say Dante and I say, fucking, you know, Medal's going to be the first one out, don't go, ooh, that's a good guess, or shit like that. So I know it's difficult, and you want to, like I say, you're like a fucking champagne bottle, 5 kilometers under the sea just want to fucking explode? Please don't comment here like Dante say, because we can interpret it because we've been there, you know, oh, okay, now we can, so I know it's difficult. At the end of the day, say thank you for podcast, bye-bye, and then that's it. But yeah, we just have to put down some ground rules for us to keep having these chats. You know, we don't want the Emmett guys or Leroux or somebody telling us, fuck, you can't do this anymore. Okay, Dante, we've got less than 40 minutes, so if we do a castaway every 2 minutes, we are going to run out of time. So we have to go through them lekker vinnig. So like I said, before we stop this to play Squall with in Squall Juffrou, Jovie Juffrou actually with. Let's start with Amy, a 33-year-old lawyer who made a video, she said on the bio after drinking a couple of wine. And then deciding now's the time to make a video.
So obviously, like again, we're taking everything on face value because there's nothing else to work off. So you know, I think Amy's gonna walk into the game, and I think within the first hour she's going to find you know, a better reason for being in the game. We all have you know, everyone has their personal reasons, but as soon as you get onto the island, you know, things are not, there's no wine, there's no prize anymore. So, you know, it's all down and dirty. So I think,
I mean, you and I had some wine.
Well, yes, we did, but we deserved it.
We won,
we were wearing jewelry around our necks. So I think, you know, so it's going to be, for me, it's going to be exciting because Amy is one of those that, you know, comes in quite innocent, but I think it's going to be one of those cases where her character is going to be built so quickly because of the innocence that she walked into the game with.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the poker analogy. I mean, if you've been there, survivors like game of poker, you know, you get a different round of chips every time there's a shuffle or a draw or a challenge, and the game is how you play with that. So, I mean, if she's in that mindset, that's great. That's the good thing. If I have to say something, a concern for me, she said that she wants to come out of the gate slow, you know, don't ruffle too many feathers. I'm just scared that coming out too slow, you get there and you're like, oh, we're in a tribe of 10 and I'm in a 3-man alliance because you didn't jump quick enough to get into that spot. So I think she's one of those people who can be for playing too slow, ironically. You know, if you're a big guy, you want to play slow because you don't want to put the target on yourself. But I mean, yeah, we can. That's my small concern. But I mean, she's a lawyer, she's smart, so yeah, I think it can go well for her. Okay.
Yeah.
Next one we have, I know you said you like this guy, reminds you of your friend, Anele, the rugby coach, 25-year-old from Joburg. Yeah.
Anela. Yeah. So, you know, the reason why I really like him, and he's definitely one of my favorites, is he's so well-spoken and well-rounded. Just from the 1 minute that, again, it's so difficult to get any understanding of the individuals, but from the little bit, the 1 minute, you know, I was impressed by kind of by his attitude. So yeah, all the best to my man Anela.
Yeah, and I like that. I mean, I think he's the very first guy we see in the trailer. We've had like close up. It's probably like a middle of a challenge shot, and you can see he's got this like pure determination on his face. And I think he's like one of those. I get he radiates like determination and I set my mind on something and I focus. So he's like one of those people. I don't think he's gonna, you know, phone production or tell them, listen, I want to quit, and I want to be here. I think he's got a lot of drive. My concern on the other side for him is, you know, he's a rugby coach. He said he likes to, you know, take control and be the one who, you know, plays quarterback or fly off and calls the shots. And I mean, we know that can sometimes rub a tribe the wrong way if you know, you're the guy calling the shots. So if he can tone down his coach and just be the put me on the field, I'm a player, I definitely think he can be far.
Definitely agree.
Okay. Third up, we've got Anesu, the medical doctor who went rogue, turned her back on the profession and decides she wants to be a yogi. I mean, that's quite a career. What do you think about Anesu?
So I've got 3 people, and I will mention the rest of them as we go along. But I've got 3 people. Sorry, who seems to be like the glue when there's going to be not only in the initial stages, but when there's tribe swaps happening. So I think Anesu is going to be one of those where information, she's going to be one of the few where she's going to be kind of, I won't say, like an Overwatch filled with information, but I think she's going to be a second tier kind of information gatherer where she will be able to which she's going to be, I think her strength is going to be information. So I think she's going to be able to manage the game, with what she gets from the other players, because she seems like someone that, is quite trustable and obviously quite approachable.
Definitely. I agree fully with you. I think she can be one of those people who, there's 10 people left in the game. She's in a core alliance of 7. Suddenly there's 5 people around, and you're like, oh, fuck, guys, nog hier, so how do we get rid of you? And, she can cruise to the end. My only concern with her is, she's a yogi, but I don't think from what I've seen that she's a physically big individual. So she has to, within the first 3 or 6 days, prove immense value to her tribe to keep her there. So I think she's one of those people where if she can survive that first 3 days, I think she can definitely, like you say, be that central nexus of a big alliance. And that's the question I have is, she said she's a born leader, she likes to take charge. I'm scared if she takes too much charge early, the vote her out. But if she can get over that first, 1 or 2 votes, I can definitely see her going deep. I agree with you. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Next up, we've got, let me just get right. We've got Carla up. Carla is a big super fan of the game. I think that's no secret. She's 29. I think first impression, she get a bit of a Leanne, I'm a bit ditzy, I'm here in my Spice Girls t-shirt, so I think that's the first impressions people might have of her, but it's clear that she's a fan of the game. She knows what she's doing. So once again, I think if she can prove value to her tribe early, and she can, like you say, join we'll get to them later, maybe join a Santoni or an Anesu with like a swap or a merge, just position herself to be not a 80th threat from the merge. If she uses her wisdom off a game, maybe finds an idol here or there, plays it well. I definitely can see her, being one of the people at the end saying, I'm young, but fuck you, give me the money. I kicked your ass.
Yeah, so I added Carla to my jury list just for the fact that I think, besides the fact that she's a super fan, I think she's one of those. The thing I think that that needs to be taken in consideration, hey Steph, is these individuals had so much time to plan and go through exactly how they want to play the games, and I think with that, obviously we both know that you can come into the game being whoever you want to be. So I think Carla could be quite possibly be one of those that is undervalued in the beginning, but then I think one of those that kind of continuously grow with each episode, eventually until the point is where you're very deep into merge. You look back and Carla's sitting next to you, and she's a problem. So I'm looking forward.
I'm looking forward to that. Like it's a tribe swap, and it's like there's a race part of a challenge, and then everything's down, and she comes with a puzzle, and then she's come from behind and just smash it, and people are like, boom, Carla, who the fuck did you get in? And she's like, guys, I'm here. We're gonna have rice tonight. Let's just celebrate and downplay her fandom. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. Okay, next guy. I think you can't miss him from the trailer. He's one of the. I think he's probably the person with the shortest screen time in that trailer, but the biggest impact, and that's Chappies, who I think from a trailer has a final frame where he's doing a 30 jump, and then it just cuts to the logo. I mean, this guy is a big guy. He's 32. He's an entrepreneur. He oozes confidence. He's an athletic guy. I mean, Dante's. This is now more in your wheelhouse of players. So, what's your take on Chappies?
Yeah, I think each episode needs the clown, and I think that's what Chuck is going to bring. He's going to bring kind of the the entertainment, not necessarily the clown to entertain us, but the excitement. So I think, look, this season does have a few guys who's built. So I think it's going to be interesting, and we'll go through the other guys, and I will mention them as well. But there's going to be a few guys, so it's just a matter of time. for us to see, if these guys that's quite physical are going to merge together and kind of use the physical aspect for looking after the tribes and catching fish and building as their biggest advantage as to use that into the initial part of the game for them to kind of cement their place, or is the confidence going to be too much in the beginning for the tribe, and it's going to be something that might be have a negative impact?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I can't see people voting Chappies out in the first tribal. I mean, a big guy like that, you want him in the tribe. And the first tribe swap, if he's just not like the most irritating person on the island, he definitely cruises through to the merge. But I think that's where he's going to run out of runway. I mean, a guy like that, let's say they merge at 10, 12, 11, whatever. I don't want to go up against him. I mean, we saw what happened to you. Everybody was like, well, Dante's fucking crushing all these challenges. As soon as he loses, we need to take him out. And he's going to be in that same kind of position. So at least, unless he has a Rob Bentley kind of game where he's controlling every single piece of on the board, I see trouble for him as soon as merge comes around. But let's see. I mean, like you say, he's entertaining. So, I think he's going to be great TV. That's for sure. Okay. Then next up, we've got that guy Dino. Dino is 30 years old. He's got a live escape room owner. I mean, if you own design escape rooms, I mean puzzles and clues and that shit, second nature to you. So I expect Dino to be one of those guys who looks at Gmail and says, "Oh, here's a secret arrow pointing there. Fucking Daddy Son," and then it's like, "Well, okay, that the idol's there." I can very easily see him. And doing that. I mean, he's an incredibly friendly guy. You listen to him. He's not like he's confident, but he's very friendly and humble at the same time. I mean, that's the perfect alliance partner. Who doesn't want to align with a guy like Dino? Yeah. I mean, what's your take on him?
Yeah, I think again from the little bit, it seems like he's more of the one of the half of the pack that's more on the introverted side. So. I would say kind of he's those guys that's kind of sitting on the edge of the fire, absorbing and absorbing and absorbing and, making not necessarily big moves, but, moves undercover. And he's kind of, dealing with people. I think he's one of those guys that kind of, almost like the loose change guys where, his position in the overall tribe is important, but he's not seen as a threat. Again, until it could be too late. But I think also, it's going to be imminent for him to kind of, evolve out of his shell to be able to, make a big impact on, especially when it comes to top 3, and you need to stand up and show what you've done, to deserve the title.
Yeah, I can also see Dino being in that position that Adam was in season 6, where it's like, there's 8 people left over in the game. Everybody knows, if this guy gets to the end, he wins, and he needs to win out. And at some point in time, whether it's 7, 6, 5, or 4, he's going to fall, and then you're going to vote him out, and one of these, Carla or Amy, sneaks in and takes a win. I mean, let's see. I think that's definitely an option that might face a guy like Dino, because he's a friendly, if this guy sits at the end, he gets all the votes. Okay. Next up, number 7, we've got Jason Brookstein, who's a structural engineering draftsman. I mean, draftsman works with his hands, so you've seen his bio. He's outdoorsy, he lives on the island, so he's like a city version of you, if I can put it mildly. Also,
that's basically Quibus. Quibus is a city version of me.
Okay, but I just want to start. I've got one question. Before we chat about Jason, Dante, do you agree that if you and I can go to Jason, we can take him back to fucking middle October before he starts shooting and tell him, Jason, when you hit that beach, get a machete, cut off your long hair, and then go play the rest of the game. That would be my advice. I would give him fucking day 1.
That's definitely. And if this guy's going to put purple paint in his hair, I'm quitting. Like, that's it. I don't want to talk about anything anymore. So yeah, I will not be surprised. But the other thing is, this guy did say, I think in his introduction, that his weakness is barbershops. So I'm not sure if if that means he's trying to stay away from them, or he can't stay away from them. I don't know which one.
Yeah, I hear you. The one thing slightly serious that I want to say about Jason, where you might see he's a bit of this outdoorsy guy, but I mean, Jason said in his bio, if one kid watches Survivor and they, after the game, they say, I want to play like Jason, he's a happy man. And I mean, that's exactly, I mean, that's like literally the cloak that I wore around my shelf when I was there is, if one guy watches my show and sends me a message and says, Jacques, I loved you, I loved watching you play, I wish I could see you play again, then I'm happy. So, I mean, that kind of like the attitude he has, it's exactly the same thing that I had. So, I mean, I resonate with the guy so much. So, yeah, I hope he goes deep. Once again, I think he's a physical guy at the beginning, like you say, he's going to provide. My big question is, what does he do come merge? That's the concern. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we're on about time. I think we're keeping it short and concise. It's purely for time reason, guys. Next up, we have Kieran Naidu. Kieran Naidu, 29-year-old strategy consultant, also a big fan of the game. I mean, he sounds when he speaks, he sounds calm, he sounds collected. You know, he's for me, he's like a mixture between Mike and Tevin, the way he speaks about the game and about himself. He says in this thing he wants to put down subtle lies. As soon as people pick up your line, you know, they don't trust you, which is a great thing to do, you know, to be upfront of your allies as soon as possible. And if he can have a flexible strategy, I can definitely see him, you know, going deep in the game.
Yeah, that's actually what I wanted to mention as well. That's regarding the small lies. You know, I think there's a lot of trust that's built quite quickly when you speak the truth and you're open and honest about who you are and what your intentions are. But, you know, my only concern is, you know, how far will he carry this bag with him until he drops it and, you know, and boil over to being what the game needs you to be, and that is kind of ruthless, you know, no matter what, you know, no matter what the audience might think, no matter what your mother, your father might think, you know, you are there to play a game, and you know, how far will you go to you know, win the game?
Exactly. Okay. Number 9, we have Marisha de Plessis. Is Steffi in the chat? I saw her briefly now. She said hi. This is like, I would love to see a WWE fight of the death between Steffi and Marisha, because, you know, they're both these like tank ripped humans. Yeah, I mean, she's 35. She's got a bit of life experience. She's got 2 kids, which, you know, I think she's got that mother edge, which we saw with Meryl, which it came out in a video quite vividly. And I mean, she loves competition. I don't think there's, you know, a person like this, unless they are extremely irritating or some shit happens, I don't see her not making the merge for sure.
Yeah, so I think I've got her down as also as merge. Yeah, I mean, you know, from the biggest telltale is, you know, she's a physical person, so I think she's going to be a problem in the challenges for many other players and castaways. And you know, I think if she can keep her mental game and her emotional game, you know, as rock solid as she will definitely keep her physical game, then definitely, you know, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and I think somebody like her needs to understand, not to understand, but needs to make a decision like, I'm not going to be the one doing all the social work. I'm not the one looking for idols. So if she can connect with, you know, a Dino or a Renier or a Carla, and, you know, let them do the strategizing and she wins the challenges, you know, they can form like quite a formidable duo. So let's see.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 10, lawyer Mike Laws. What an apt name to be a lawyer. I know he's probably heard this a million times in his life. But he's got this, you know, savvy, slick, city boy thing saying, you know, he wants to be a fun pirate. We just have fun. Yeah. I mean, I think he's got.
So I think we've experienced. I think we've both experienced someone in our season exactly like that, who came in for the party and for the fun, and who's drifting, and they're not sure what are we doing today, or, you know, but top 6, he's sitting next to you. So again, you know, if that was only for you know, for cover, or that is how he plays, you know, the game of life, you know, you can't underestimate anyone. It doesn't matter if they come in bullets flying or telling you that they want to be a fun pirate, you know.
Yeah, I'm just concerned he's saying he's going to tell a lot of lies. Yeah, like you say, you can be the most fun one-eyed pirate in the whole Wild West, but if he's saying he's planning to come with a lot of lying, All right, cool. Thanks, Jason. If lawyer Mike Law says he's going to be coming in with a lot of lies and people, catch up on that day 3, he's got a fucking difficult road to make it to final and win. So I'm concerned that he's like that Seamus boat where he comes out a bit too quick, a bit too fast, and makes some cock.
Yeah, actually, with Mike, I'm gonna disagree with you. I think Mike is going to be again. He's going to be very similar to Dino, and I think those two together will probably, sail a few ships together and make things happen. Very kind of undercover in the middle of the game at least. So on that one, I'm going to disagree with you.
Let's see who's right. Okay, now you want to hit the fucking timeout button. Die stop knoppie. Fucking Leroux, skerp jou ore. I don't think anybody in the game of Survivor has ever been dealt such a cuck starting hand from the fucking get-go than this poor Nicole girl, okay? Like, she's going to hit the beach. She's going to put her foot in the sand. And all the other 19 girls, other 19 people are going to, last season they watched is our season. And we know what happened when our Nicole played. I'm in the bikini. I'm listening to you. Don't worry about it. I got your back. And except for you, Dante, everybody else fell for a trick. And, of a whole jury, every single person thought Nicole was their best friend. And at the end, she's like, boom, look how great game I played. And Nicole played a fucking stellar game. Now, this lady, poor, I don't know, next time Nicole, season 8 Nicole, has to get up there, looks the same, talks the same, wants the same strategy of like, I'm pretty, but I'm going to, get the best out of you. And your fucking Booch has got the same name. So, I don't think everybody's ever been dealt such a cuck starting hand. So I would be extremely, extremely surprised if she's not the first boot or the first time that she visits tribal council she's out. Not because I don't think she's a good player, not because I think anything bad about her, purely because of the inertia and the memory of what happened in our season. So yeah, I don't have anything else to say for her except that.
Well, I think
that's all I have to say.
The little bit of bio that I've read in the introduction, if she goes beyond what you are suggesting, I think she's definitely one of those personalities that runs a tribe with a firm iron fist, and she demands authority, and she gets it. So I think if she can get through the first 2 votes. Cement, her authority in a tribe. I think she could be, someone that's going to rule brutally, but I think they will get the job done.
Unless she's in a tribe that wins every single challenge right up until the merge, I think. And we've got a lot of gamers here. I mean, we've got a lot of people who know the game well and who've seen Survivor and who will have, when they see this girl get this huge fucking illuminating magnetic bullseye that's like zoning in on her. So. But let's see. I mean, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Okay. But I'm very scared for Adam and Nicole. Nicole version 2. Shame. Okay. Number 12. We've got freelancer Pinty.
Nolene.
Pinty. She looks to me like an extremely sincere person. I think she's one of those people who would make a great asset to any alliance. I just don't know if she has the cutthroat element required to get from 14 in the game to 4 in the game. That's my big concern for Pinty.
So I think with the bio being a kind of an honest person, I think if she could maneuver herself under someone with authority or someone with kind of a head in the tribe, I think she can cover herself very easily. And seeing that it seems like she's quite also kind of more on the introverted side of individuals, I think she's one of those that can kind of, hide behind the trees and just kind of move with the tribe and add her vote where it's needed and kind of do the thing, until, hopefully, obviously, I'm all for positivity. So until she can hopefully, have a position where she can then, cut the throat herself and then make her mark in the game.
I agree with you. We're a bit behind after my rant on Nicole, so let's try and I'm just going to speed it up. Not because we can talk about this for hours, but we need to keep going. The next up we have Paul Capito. He's 29. He's the aftercare teacher. The one concern I have about Paul is he said he's going to be good at finding idols and at the strategic game and at the physical game and at the social game. And as soon as a person says they're going to be good at everything, I get a red light because it maybe I'm wrong, but it to me it indicates that you don't know yourself well enough to know what your own weakness is. And if you don't know your own weaknesses, you're not going to win this game. So that's my concern for Paul. He looks like a really fun guy. I can very easily see him being like, the 5+1, who's the sixth person of the line to get the majority and cruise with them. I just don't get the feeling that he's as good in every facet of a game as he thinks he is. But I mean, that's just from the 40-second bio.
Yeah. Well, dude, for me, actually, I think the opposite. I think
okay.
With the little bit that I get from him, I think he's going to be a chameleon. I think he's going to be, maybe it's possible, like you said, now he might be kind of all over the show, but of all 20 contestants, I think he's the one guy who's going to be able to, if you tell him now, this is how we're going to build a house, this is how we're going to shoot a fish, this is how we're going to win that idol, he's going to be able to adapt on the dime. I think of all the guys, or everyone here, I think he's going to be the guy who's going to be able to keep up with the pace or slow it down, or he's going to be able to control the pace due to the fact that he's one of those that can kind of adapt quite quickly.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very good case. Let's see how it plays out. The next up, we've got 35-year-old Kian. Now, I don't know if any of you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but Kian, for me, I get a lot of like Rosa vibes. I sent you the screenshot, Dante, of the similarities and how they look. I mean, they're not exactly the same, but I get the kind of like, I'm the bad bitch in the room, don't fuck with me, kind of, swag with a hat. And I love Kian. I mean, I don't know if you know, but Kian was at our reunion show, Dante. Jeffrey sent me a picture of Kian and Dino at the reunion show. Now, I don't want to open a can of worms, but obviously, you don't want to chat to each other. But if she knows Dino from a reunion show and they're in different tribes and they reconnect, I mean, that's maybe just the inkling she needs. If Kian can get part of that, like we spoke about earlier, that core women alliance that just, get rid of the big threats and just moves to the end, I can very easily see her being like, one of those last 6 people losing control of the game, and then it's free for all.
So I think Kian is going to be a problem for Marisha. I think they're kind of the two that, if had to be in 2 different tribes, I think those 2 are going to be, going to be the heads of the tribes. I think she seems quite, like someone who can take charge and manage authority quite well. So I'm actually rooting for Kian also actually to get at least, at least top 10.
For sure. So, unless she gets like some kind of swap screwed, I can't disagree with you. Yeah. Okay, number 15, we come up to the guy who knows the game, who's an engineer, the 30-year-old René Lawrence. I know you've had a couple of opinions on him.
So obviously I think what we're going to do is at the finale, we're going to sit you and René down and we're going to see who is the true king of trivia. Because it seems like, we've got two parties here who's claiming the same prize here. So,
I never claimed to be the Survivor Trivia King. I'll just say that. I said I'm just here to play the game. But arrogance that René had. But
yeah. So listen, I think
not arrogance, confidence, my ability to say I'm the best. I have the best Survivor Trivia, because I honestly think I don't. I just like the game. But go
so
on.
Listen, I think if there's going to be an idol, again, I'm putting my money on him to find either the first advantage, the first idol. If any super fan who it can break the game down into small bits and pieces, know it's exactly from the first go. As soon as Neku say welcome to Survivor, there's idols and advantages and shit hidden all over the show. So if there's anyone who knows too much about that, it's going to be him. So obviously, knowledge is going to be king in his department.
Yeah. Look, my biggest fear is that at his very first tribal council, he has an idol and he's aligned with Kian and he wants to save her, and then he votes out the accident. If that happens, I'm done with Survivor. I'm quitting the show. It's over. I'm not watching this cup anymore. That's my big fear for me. No, I can't agree with you more. I think it's a thing of the difference between knowing the game and playing the game. And we've seen a lot of times how people who know nothing about the game win the game, And we've seen how people who know everything about the game, you know, fucks it up at the very first time.
Well, you
So
know,
my question,
it could be his biggest disadvantage. You know, coming if anyone picked up in the first few days of the game that he is a super fan, he's fucked. You know, I mean that's just the part of the game. It's the same like.
I want to disagree with you. I want to disagree with you. I think on our season, yes. On this season, he says he's a super fan. Dido's a super fan. Santonio's a super fan. Carla's a super fan. Sean's a super fan. There's somebody else I wrote down. Kieran's a super fan. So it's very easy to say, I know the game. Fucking al 8 van julle ook. Why don't we just form the fucking Brainiac Alliance or Nerd Alliance, Superfan Alliance, whatever? Because there's 8 or 10 of them this season. So I think it's a bit of a different composition than 2 years ago when we played. That's my opinion.
Sure.
I mean,
I think having all this time to prepare. I think mentioning something like that. It just puts an unnecessary target on you if you proclaim on the island, at least, if you proclaim, listen,
yeah, for sure.
Come to me with any questions because I know exactly where the idols are going to
Yeah.
go. I've got an idea.
I can promise you he's smarter than that, but let's see. Okay. Then next up, we've got Santoni. We're running out of time, Dante. Let's try and keep it quick. Sorry if you are one of the people in the chat and we come to you last. Santoni, listen, Santoni is a huge fucking nerd, dude. I mean, I don't know if you saw Instagram, but she's like 4th of May, Star Wars posts and all kinds of stuff, So, is she a fun person? Is she a big nerd? Absolutely. I can see her rolling with like the Dinos and the Renis and that crowd very easily. My biggest concern with Santoni is, can she on day one prove to a tribe that she's there to help them win a challenge, either by puzzles or by some kind of physical component? I'm scared for her first 3 tribals, but I think after that she makes it deep.
Yeah, I've got exactly the same, man. Exactly the same. I'm going to then go over to Sean. Am I correct if I say Sean is the oldest individual in the game? Yeah,
I think so. 40 years old.
I think being a more mature individual, I think he's going to be the glue. He's going to be that guy that does the transition whenever there's movement or eruption or whatever. I think Sean will be the guy to kind of calm everyone down, bring everyone down to level, put all the things in place for everyone to kind of mesh together and stay together. So I think Sean, with that obviously comes information. So I think Sean might be one of those guys that relies on information to prolong his game.
Absolutely, and I mean, he mentioned in his bio that he plays Fortnite and Apex Legends. I don't know if you know what they are. They're like online shooting games. So it means he's like a kid at heart. So I can very easily see if you compare him to someone like a Paul, I never met Paul in the game, but it always appeared to me like he had trouble connecting with the young people. I think this is going to be second nature for Sean. So I agree with you fully.
Yeah,
he can be that central cog of the engine, which everything revolves around, and people don't know it. So definitely excited to see him play. Okay, then we've got another big favor of mine in Toriso. She's 36 years old, also a bit more older, from Uitenhage, PE born. Dude, what I loved about her is the people who she referenced in a video. She spoke about Serif Fields and like American survivors. So this means to me like if you take somebody like who's like a strong-willed, big, determined individual like a Sipe, and you just put a gamer mind in her, that's her. So I'm really excited to see her play. A big favorite of mine. I think like a Sipe, all these kind of powerful women, I think she can be a bit of a presence. So maybe she's an early boot. I hope she's not, but I can promise you one thing: wherever she places, I don't think people are gonna forget her. Something like 3 years down the line, who's that girl? No, people are gonna remember her. So
so
I'm very excited to see her play.
I've got her also. I've got top 5 at least if she can hang around for sure. She's also a top 5 favorite for winning, and I think she can be one of those that's going to be making all the big moves, but she's going to be blocking all the attention away from her. So she's going to be basically like a kingpin, sitting back, telling the little soldiers what to do, and she's going to be knocking them off one by one, and no one's going to be able to pick up who exactly it's coming from.
I can also very easily see her teaming up with a Carla and a Kian, and like you rightfully say, being the kingpins, deflecting the attention and then cruising to the end with like a core of 6, and then it's gloves off. Okay. Number 19,
Next one,
we've got
Tyson.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so for face value, also I really like I like what he brings to the table. A lot of confidence. I hope he can tone it down for the first half of the game. If he can stick around until merge with that confidence, by that time already he's accumulated so much trust. I think he's going to be a very difficult guy to stop if they let him pass top 8.
Yeah, absolutely. I have exactly the same thing written down. The only two concerns is he says he likes to speak his mind, which you've proven to us not a great strategy.
Yeah.
And then also he says he wants to play Survivor to learn about TV. As soon as people say I want to play Survivor for all these kinds of fucking Instagram followers, all kinds of otherworldly shit, I question why you're there. If his thing is to learn about TV, fuck, wees extra op die 7 launch set. So that's my only small concern if I have to mention everything. But I mean, I fully agree with you. He's young, he's got energy. If he can, get a group of people to the end, then they can just knock out challenges. You can definitely go deep for sure. Okay. Finally, we've got another favorite of mine, Warder, the yoga instructor. Yeah, I know you also have a lot to say, so maybe you take this one and I'll come in at the end.
So yeah, again, Wada, a mature woman. I think she's going to be one of those overwatchers that's going to be, I think she's going to gel very well with Anesu. I think the backgrounds are kind of very similar. And what what you tend to pick up on the game is whenever there's similarities or interests that's the same or whatever the case, or similar backgrounds or whatever, you use all of those to your advantage. So I think being being a more mature woman, I think if she takes all those things and she combines it into a little package to sell to the young individuals, it's such an easy way to gain confidence and make sure she's got a position in the game.
Absolutely, and I can see her being one of those people who, you don't see on the beach and think of her as a threat. So I can very easily see her being like one of those people who, glides, for a deep part under the radar. I'm just slightly concerned for her first 2 or 3 episodes. Can she prove worth to a tribe day one, so that if they go tribal council, she's not the first boot? Okay. Cool. Sheldon,
how much time is there left?
I think we're like 2 minutes. I don't know what time we started. We've got like 2 minutes. So I just want to say, Sheldon, yes, we are going to post it. We've got an Anchor account, a SoundCloud or some shit. I don't know where exactly.
It's going to be here. It's going to be posted here.
Okay, so it's going to be Instagram. You'll find it here. If not, we have a SoundCloud link if you want the audio only. Anna LaRue likes to talk with his audio. We'll keep that. And I think that's that. I don't think there's any questions other than that I missed. And I want to cut off abruptly. Thank you guys for watching. I don't know if
there's a minute 40 left, so you can
minute 40
slow down. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. The last thing that I wanted to say is, do you have any prediction for top 3? Not necessarily names. Not necessarily names. In my opinion, I strongly believe there's so much confident women in this season. I'm convinced it's going to be a woman winning the season, and at least a woman in 2nd place or 3rd place. I think it's going to be a steamroll season. Yeah,
it's going to be one of those things where I think 1 or 2 of these women might go early, and then it's going to be whoever does. I think the super fans, I think there's enough of them to unite to the end, but I think once merge comes, the Chappies and Mauritius and the Reniers, they're going to be knocked off because of their knowledge of the game or their physical presence. And then these, like I said, these under the radars. I can easily see a Carla or a Kiran or a Wara, cruising to the end of the game, even a Teresa, and then just say, boom, I control the game. Fuck you, give me $1 million. And everybody's like, okay, you win. So I think that's going to be the narrative of the season. Let's see. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If there's anything else, any questions, we're going to be here next week. We're going to chat a bit more Survivor, and we'll keep chatting to us, keep mentioning us on Twitter, on Instagram. We'll chat back to you if we can. Thanks for the support. See you next week.
Lekker.
Cheers, dude. Lekker, dude. Cheers, man. Bye.